Welcome to Empty Nester Life, the podcast. I'm Jackie.
And I'm still Mark.
And he is still Mark, last time we checked. So, hey, today we're going to be talking about integrating into a family, blending families when one or both of you already have kids and now you've decided to get married. So that's going to be today's topic. But before we jump into that, why don't you, Stepfather of the Year,
Stepfather of the Year.
Tell the news we have.
Well, it's really crazy. So Sophia and Brody, her boyfriend, went down to Mexico, went down to Rocky Point. You know, they had a few days, and that's a great little jaunt down there from Phoenix. It's like 4 hours, something like that, to drive there. And so they're there for a day or two. And then we got Jackie on her iPhone got a video call.
FaceTime.
Yeah, FaceTime. I don't have an iPhone. I have the mother of all phones, Android. Anyway, and it was Sophie, and she's like this, and she goes, "Do you know a great place to go for dinner tonight?"
And I saw it immediately.
And I did not.
He did not. He's like, "Well, yeah, you could go down to whatever and whatever." And I was like, and she's like, "I'm engaged." And I just started crying and like happy
huge.
tears. We really like her boyfriend. Well, fiance. We're very excited to welcome him into the family and have a son-in-law.
Yeah, we got another kid now. We got another son. We got a son coming, and
we have a son. We don't have any boys.
It's pretty awesome. And they're super happy. They're kind of made for each other. No doubt about it. They really get along good, and they're just both better, I think, together than. I mean, again, we didn't know
him before,
Brody before, but I
yeah.
can say, yeah, I think together they're great. They really are great. They're fun to hang out with. We've hung out with them, you know, just mano and mano, and they're going to be a special little couple, and
yeah,
you know, put the Lord first, that kind of stuff. So, really excited about that. Real excited about that. But it's down the road,
yes.
Which is.
We're very glad they're waiting. It's going to be next year. So.
And I love the fact she asked me and I get to officiate it. I am a chaplain, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm trying to find the right words, and so it'll be real special. But again, I got a year to work on it. I probably can get it done.
You'll figure it out in a year.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I concur. So, Mark, today's topic, tell me why you wanted to talk about this topic, or why did we choose this topic?
Well, pragmatically, we needed another topic for the podcast, and I
mean, in all honesty, isn't that why we always choose the topic?
Well, no, but and then this kind of came up, and it was sifting around in my mind, and you know, I think it kind of backfills a little bit of our story. If anybody cares, you know, it tells a little bit more of our story. Yeah, you know, I'm a stepdad, and actually, I had somebody comment. I think Dennis commented, "I didn't know that you that about the girls, that you were a stepdad." Yep, stepdad. So, you know, it's real special, and it was something that I started thinking about, and then I kind of woke up with it, and I said, "Oh, we should do the whole stepdad thing," because I think it's valuable. Because there's a lot of blended families in this world now, and more are going to get blended, and maybe just kind of walk through it a little bit, our experience, and then just follow through on our outline and go through it kind of step by step, some of the different ingredients of how that all plays out.
Yeah, and I think too, from my perspective, to be able to maybe chime in and give some things, because I do think, I mean, there's definitely stuff we did wrong, but I think there's a lot that we did right when we blended when we blended our family together. And it takes two. It's not just on the step parent, it's also on the biological parent. And so I think that's really important. So,
well, from a standpoint, like I came from 10, 11 years of being single.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things. We didn't live together before we got married or anything like that. And so literally it was like all of a sudden, boom, instant family. And in this case, moved into a house that I had. And it was really super exciting.
That's not true.
Oh, well, no.
We lived together for a week.
Yeah, and I was
before
on
the
the
wedding.
couch. We traded off on the couch.
He slept on the couch.
Yeah.
He slept on the couch, and I got the bed. And then after about 3 nights of that, he's like, any interest in switching off? And of course, I'm not heartless, so I was like,
Couldn't
yes,
sleep.
I will switch onto the couch.
I remember that couch
So,
too. It was kind of spongy.
yeah,
Yeah, we had that for a long time.
we did.
Anyway, but I remembered that part of it, but I thought, well, we didn't live together. Well, I guess we kind of did a little
For
bit,
a
but
week,
but it was one of those things where everybody, it was fun. It was an exciting time, and we lived in South Scottsdale at the time, and it was really exciting. And I was going to become a dad, and that was really important to me. And I love the girls. The girls met them at a very young age. I probably met them when they were 5, 7 years old, something like that. I think Sophie was 5 and Maddie was 7. So it's not like, and we got married when they were 11 and 13. So not like I didn't know when they were just little skunks, little skunks. And so I knew them then. And so I had a pretty long history, 5 years of history probably with them or so, 6 years of history before we got married.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that, because obviously if you're going to blend your family, it does start at some point. You got to introduce the boyfriend or the girlfriend to the kids before you make the decision that you're going to get married, because it's really important that you see how everybody interacts together. It was important to me to know that Mark and the girls got along. And, I do think that there's something to that, where if you introduce your kids, depending on how old they are, but if you introduce your kids to the potential step parent, and it is not like it is oil and water, man, you got an uphill battle, and it might be time to rethink.
Well, and there's a difference between liking one another and then realizing that they're kids, and you got to have some, patience and some tolerance there. I mean, I saw there was going to be some parenting that was going to happen in terms of discipline and stuff like that. I saw that, and I understood that because I know that I got parented, she got parented, so that was okay.
Right, but I also think, so if you're watching this and your kids are younger, still, you're not quite empty nesters yet, so this could actually be something that you're dealing with. But I am curious. I mean, obviously our story is rooted in when the kids were little.
Yeah.
But I'm curious as to how that would change. What are your thoughts? How would that have changed if the girls were already adults? So you wouldn't have to parent them, and there would already be...
They'd be friends.
You'd be friends.
Maybe like a friend thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be more of a friend thing. Glad mom's happy, that sort of thing. I would think it's rather than a dad thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be as close. It'd be a friend thing. Right. But, you're not there if as adults, they're not there every morning and night, and we're having dinner, and, you're getting them off to school and that sort of stuff. And they're going through their trials. And, growing up, the teenage years are tough, preteen years are tough, not easy.
Let's make sure, here's what I want to make sure, and I don't even know that it's on this outline, but let's make sure we address that towards the end of the episode. So stick with us, because we'll address that. If you're an empty nester who's either been divorced or widowed, or, however you became a single parent empty nester, and you are considering getting remarried, we need to talk about that dynamic specifically. So stay with us, because we will hit that on the end.
Okay, cool. I have an idea for that, but yeah, okay, good.
Let's get to that at the end.
Good.
So let's start though with, when you introduce your kids, if your kids are still minors, okay, or, maybe you're a half empty nester. We know people who have kids who fly the coop. They are empty nesters, and then surprise, they're having another baby. So we know people that this has happened to. So we don't want to make any.
We're not going to do that though.
No, but we don't want to make any pre expectations as to where you might be if you're listening. So
yeah, of course.
I do think it's important that, number one, you have to integrate your families. The kids have to meet the boyfriend or girlfriend, vice versa. And then if the other person you're looking to marry also has kids, then you got to make sure that the kids get along. Now, all of that to be said, if you're in this later phase in life and kids are already flown the coop and you are an empty nester and he's an empty nester, she's an empty nester, whatever, then that's a little different. No, then it really is up to you in terms of that.
Yeah. So my whole deal is that in terms of the bonding process with the girls, I would say that it happened at different intervals. Mm-hmm. You know, one accepted me faster than the other one did.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it was different. I mean, they're individual people, and they're going to take their own time. And I think really, as a stepdad, you know, it's not about biology. It's about love, and it's about being there for them and being there every single day. And I think, you know, some people, like, you know, you can be there every single day for 7 days and they're like, I'm in. And some people it take, you know, 7 years maybe, or you know, 2 years or something like that. Yeah. I just think really depends on the individual. I mean, I wanted to be dad, and I wanted to be called dad and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't happen overnight.
Right.
It didn't happen overnight.
No,
for sure. You took the lion's share of, you know, corralling the girls and that sort of thing up front, at least.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. Let's go ahead and just kind of dive right into here, where we can kind of give you some ideas and some tips and tricks on how to blend your family in a successful way. And I do think it starts with setting realistic expectations. So, you know, strong relationships are not built overnight. And so, like you said, the bonding you had between the girls and you, that happened at different intervals. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important that you, as a parent and a step parent, you take the reins to try and guide it, but you certainly can't force it.
Well, yeah, you want it to happen fast, because I'm pretty impatient. If you've ever met me, I'm kind of an impatient person. I can be more patient now, but I'm fairly impatient. So I kind of want stuff just to be set up right. Here's the way it's going to be. And it just absolutely doesn't work that way. So I think if you just dial it down a little bit, chill out, don't come across as the enforcer, you know, right away, that they just need to get to know you as a person, not as my new dad, you know, not as my new dad.
Right. Well, and because, and in our situation, and again, every situation is different, but in our situation, they had a dad who was somewhat involved in their life at mm-hmm. the time. Mm-hmm. That changed over the course of, you know, their growing up. But here's what I actually think you did right. And I do want to share this. If you have kids who are minors, you're coming into the situation. What I really loved that Mark did, that I think set the whole tone, was when we first moved in. And I mean, obviously the girls had gotten to know him, he knew him for years before we got married. Mm-hmm. But when they moved in, I remember we sat at the dinner table and you said, hey, listen, I know you have a dad. I want you to have a relationship with your dad, and I'm mm-hmm. not trying to take his place. Mm-hmm. And this is the part where most step parents say, so I'm just going to be your friend. But Mark didn't do that. And I think that's really key. What Mark said was, so I'm not trying to take the place of your dad, but in this house, I am the father figure. And so you're going to respect me as such, and I'm going to set the rules. You know, we're going to have rules and expectations, mm-hmm. and that's okay. And I mean, he said it in a much more eloquent way than I'm saying right now, but to cut to the chase, that was the gist of what he said. And honestly, it made a huge difference, because he wasn't saying, basically, if you say, I don't want to take the place of your dad, I just want to be your friend, then you're setting an expectation right there that you have no authority, that the biological parent is the only one with authority, and you're just there to have a good old time. And Mark didn't do that. And I think that was a really wise foundation that you set.
Because they said, yeah, but we want a dad.
They did not. Stop.
No. Yeah, no. I mean, I think that was, something I probably thought about. I do remember that, but I don't really recall like how I kind of came up with that. I wanted some respect for sure. But more than anything, I wanted a relationship. I wanted to be dad at some point. And I think easing into it, that's what that was. It was kind of an easing into it. And I think the other thing is people do want, and kids, they want structure. And if there's rules, they want to know what the rules are. And
Yeah.
I think that was really key. I think they found out, oh, okay, so this isn't going to be sort of a roommate thing. You know what I mean?
And I think that's my point, is that it needed to be established that I was not the only person with authority in the household. And I think when you say I want to be friends, that's what that does. So, but again,
I think that's right.
so that was a good realistic expectation set right up front. Because if he would have come on and said, yeah, I'm not going to try and be your dad, I'm just going to try and be your friend. But then if he would have said, hey, I need you to do the dishes, they would have been like, yeah, but you're my friend. You're not, you know what I'm saying? So it set that expectation. And I thought that was really good.
And the other thing is too, is that, and then I didn't follow that up with, okay, now, so what I've done is I've taken the liberty to put together a little manual. On how,
here's our SOPs, standard operating procedures in the Tate household.
You'll notice that I've kind of varied it for each individual, and I've got one for Jackie too.
That would have gone over like a lead balloon, trust me.
Really well. No, I didn't do that.
No.
That was kind of it.
No, and then another thing too, I think we kind of already said, but avoid forcing the bond. And so again, it was like, this is how this is. And again, we eased into, the girls had relationship with him for a long time prior to our marriage. But I did introduce them to him in a very neutral way. Mm-hmm. We went to church together. And Mark came to the church that I always go to with the girls. Yep. And so I took the girls to children's church and then met up with Mark, and we sat through service. And after service, went and got the girls. And I said, oh, this is my friend Mark. And, that was great. They thought that was great. And then, of course, so my whole
this is a funny story.
My whole single momhood, the girls never met a guy that I was dating unless I thought it could be something serious. So I think they maybe only met one or two other people before meeting Mark. I was a single mom for 8 years. Now, they had never seen, there was always just my friend. They never really saw it as like a romantic relationship. Right. So I forgot to set that expectation with Mark right up front. So as we're saying goodbye and we're going to get in the car and Mark's going in his car to go his separate way, he leans in and gives me a little peck. And I mean, it was just a little peck, but it was a kiss. And Sophia, who was 5 at the time, goes, "Ew, mommy."
And then what was she saying? Something out the window?
Oh, she used to because Mark. Well, take off your hat real quick.
Well, they've seen me.
Well, but not if this is their first. Yeah. So she used to say, "Mommy loves Mark the bald guy." Bald guy. And she'd yell it out the window.
Flattering.
Anyway.
Flattering.
Anyway, so yes, we let the relationships develop naturally. Yeah. We certainly didn't force anything, or I didn't certainly force them to give him a hug before we said goodbye. Nothing like that.
That would have been
whatever
weird.
happened just natural.
I think that's weird.
Yeah, I agree. So they have to feel comfortable with him. He needs to feel comfortable with them, and so that's kind of how that went. Okay.
Yep.
Point number 2.
Open and honest communication.
Open and honest communication.
So isn't that any relationship? You need open and honest communication, but you need to talk about it. And I think we need to talk about it because I don't know that that's the norm. I don't know. Right. I mean, I think to be open and honest, having that sort of communication is important. And here comes Maddie.
Oh, maybe we can get her to be hi. Come on in.
We got the dog.
Do you want to be on our podcast?
I don't know if I should walk in or not.
Come on in.
We're recording, but do you want to say hi?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi.
Come say hi.
It's on camera too?
It's on camera too. Hi, sweetheart. Oh,
hi, little baby.
We're just talking about blending families and becoming about being a step parent. So we're talking a lot about you.
Yeah, we talk a lot about you, Maddie. I don't know if you've seen any of the podcasts, but we do have some stuff in there.
We can pause this though.
Next on the hit parade is kind of building trust through shared experiences. Personally, I think that is the way to go. I think shared experiences are the things that really get you to know other people.
I agree. And I think, finding things that you can all do together that you all enjoy. And sometimes that's going to look like doing what, hey, if everybody's on the same page, we all enjoy it. But sometimes it looks like doing what the other person likes. And if that's the case, if you can't really find something that everybody likes, then find something, okay, this week it's your turn. This time it's your turn, right?
Yeah, I'm not a huge game guy, doing games, but I enjoy it. It's fun. Everybody's together, and the good part about that, it's not about the game. It's really about everybody being together and laughing and joking and having some drinks, having some food, that kind of thing. That's the nice part about it.
Yeah.
I think it really is great for integrating families is schedule activities that you can do together and then vary them because not everybody's going to be into every activity. Yeah, and it changes. I think it changes dynamics a lot from, it's this kind of bang, 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 knocking out the world every day. Mm-hmm. Then, okay, now you got just no structure. Let's try and have some fun. And hopefully you don't get into arguments and... Well,
and I think, I think back to like when the girls were young and we would take them on bike rides down, we lived in Old Town Scottsdale and we'd take the girls on bike rides, go to the library, go get dinner. And then, as the kids got older, a lot does revolve around food, let's be honest.
Yeah, in our life it does. I don't know what it is. It's about the kitchen table.
It really is. So, now we'll have the kids come over and maybe I'll cook dinner and have a nice home-cooked meal. And then we'll all sit around and play games and things like that.
And do it consistently. Mm-hmm. Consistency, I think, is really important. Like if you do it like once every 7.5 months, I don't know. I don't think that's enough. And I'm joking. I'm sure that is obviously most people don't do that. But I think that maybe there are times where just getting people together for dinner is really difficult. And that's one thing that we always did, that we actually had dinner together. Everybody was hungry, but it feels like there's some families, I know of families, they didn't even have dinner together.
I know. Yeah, I think finding something in your day where you can reconnect. Yeah, dinner is always a great, because like you said, everybody's hungry. But I get it. Hey, if you've got kids at home that have activities and sports and they don't get home till 9 o'clock at night, you're not waiting till 9 o'clock at night to have dinner. You're going to cook dinner and keep them a plate of leftovers. I get that. But, especially as an empty nester and your kids are out of the house, it does take more coordination, more time. Yep. And so I think it's really important, like we kind of talked about in the beginning, where we're having a new son-in-law come into the family. So we have to create opportunities to get to know him. And so same thing, if you're finding yourself in a situation where you're bringing in a step parent, whether the kids are little, big, or anywhere in between, then, you create these shared experiences, which gives opportunity for each other to just get to know each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just keep it going, and if you have fun, they'll come back.
Exactly.
I think that's it. But we enjoy being together, and I think that that's a really, really good tip. I think the more consistency, I think the more you get to know one another, and I think that actually helps everybody feel more comfortable. And let's do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And so point number 5 is to support the biological parent. So this could kind of go 2 different ways. Well, just in saying like...
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Right. Like it could be, we're in our situation, him supporting me. He's a step parent. I'm the biological parent in the home. But then we could also be talking about supporting the biological parent who's not in the home, but who's doing their own thing, maybe with a new spouse or whatever.
Well, I can go this way. Don't run either one of them down. I would say that. Don't run them down. Yeah, your mom's wrong. Wow, he's wrong. Listen to me. I don't think you do that. Yeah. Because I think it lacks credibility and you're not always right. And they're going to have their own feelings and ideas about the whole thing anyway. So I think it's really more ask questions. How do you feel about it? How do we make you feel more comfortable? And listen to those answers and see if it's realistic. But yeah, you're a great mom. You're a great mom. So I never would really question you to them because I never had no reason to. Right. But I could see where You could. I mean, there's questionable adults out there that are parenting kids.
That's true.
And some of them have no business doing it. And there's a lot of turmoil in the world. I get it. I understand. And there's going to be turmoil in every single family. But I just think continue to support one another rather than running down. Stay positive, do it in love. Love thy neighbor, that idea.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point and good way to look at it. And that can be kind of difficult. And if you're talking about supporting the biological parent who's not in the house, the ex-spouse or the ex-whatever, I think that can be difficult because they're an ex for a reason. I mean, let's face it. Y'all didn't get along well enough to keep it together. So, hey, it's hard sometimes to not say what your knee-jerk reaction, when the kids come and say, oh, Daddy didn't show up again, and your knee-jerk reaction is, well, because he never shows up. You don't want to say that. Go there. Not saying that was our situation. I'm just saying. So,
yeah, and the other thing is, too, is it might be a situation where this person is so deadbeat.
Yeah.
Dangerous. Mm-hmm. Not good.
Right.
That, you're going to have a heart-to-heart. And say, well, let me tell you what's going on.
That is true too, and you have to use your best judgment. And I think that it's again, a lot of this is delicate situation. We're not saying we have all the answers, but we're just trying to encourage you to. I mean, here's the thing. I was talking to somebody recently who is retired now, but made their living as a therapist. And one of the things she said is, it always comes down to love. It really does.
That's what you were telling me. That's what she said.
Right? I mean, it always comes down to love. And love, what is love? Love is not self-centered or self-seeking. Mm-hmm. And love is not, it's all about me. That's not love. Love is that, we're going to relate together, and how can what I have to offer help you? How can what you have to offer help me?
No, I don't know if you really want to say this, but I'll say it. Didn't she say something along the lines of, I can always tell if whoever I'm counseling, if they've been loved or they haven't been loved?
Yes.
Didn't she say that?
She did. She said it always comes back to the parents, and I can tell. I can tell if they were raised with love, and I can tell if they weren't.
Dang.
Right.
Dang, that just hits me. Hits me hard.
Yeah.
Hits me hard.
I mean, because there are a lot of people out there, sadly enough, that are not experiencing love. And I do think, I know this might be a little bit of a rabbit hole and not quite on topic, but I would encourage you that if, love starts with, you got to love yourself. And if you're coming from a place where you feel ugly about you, you're going to project your ugliness onto other people. And that's something that, I think is a human nature thing. But stop yourself if you see yourself behaving that way and say, okay, it's not about me. How can I turn this around?
And if I can go biblical, here real quick. We love because he loved us first. So if you know that from the Bible, then maybe you understand the origin of all of it. And I think that helps you love thy neighbor, love thy biological ex. Yeah. Truly. We're literally called to love everyone. Jesus said, who's my neighbor? The guy goes, he goes, everybody's your neighbor.
Yeah.
Everybody's your neighbor. And
coming to things, and there's a difference between, a lot of times we think of love as like, oh, we have to be in a relationship, or I have to, this, that, or the other. Love means I'm accepting all the bad things about you. No. But because I love my daughters, I didn't talk bad about their biological dad, even though he and I didn't have much good to say about one another if we're left to our own devices. Yeah. But out of love for the girls, I wasn't trashing him or bringing him down or anything like that. Because
that's sometimes what love looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
And so...
I like it.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's a good point. I think we went a little off the topic, but actually that's a good thing. I like that. Also, I guess kind of in that same vein is respecting the past. So respecting the fact that the children, whether they're teeny tiny, adult, or anywhere in between, they have a previous relationship with that other biological parent who's not there. And whether that relationship was good or whether that relationship was bad, they come to the table with learned behaviors of what that looks like.
Well, you can't really judge it. If that relationship, and it's going to be a different relationship. It's two different people. If that relationship is something that works, there's love falling out of it. There's mutual respect. There's relationship. There's time spent, and it's consistent. I'm not going to judge that. It's rather than, I can't believe you spent all Saturday afternoon over there. Well, that's great. The other side of that coin is, that's great. You spent all Saturday, you had a good time? Yeah, it was great. Fantastic.
Right. Because I think at the end, too, like, it's a little bit, I see this a lot. I used to actually have a business called the Strong Single Mom Network, where it was a place for single moms to actually learn how to heal from their past and not repeat their mistakes, was really, and then just to network with one another and support each other. And I think that was really important because, you know, in the end of the day, if you're just rinsing and repeating your past mistakes, you're going to get more of the same thing. But you know, to learn how to become better yourself so that you then reach for a better relationship, a better fit for you, a better, you know, I mean, I will say that what you and I have doesn't look anything like what I had with my ex or what you had with your ex. No, it's a completely totally new relationship, a completely new situation, and in a beautiful 100%. Way, like in a really good way.
In a good way.
So I think that's really important. That's really important too. So.
And it's something you have to work on. I mean, you have to work on literally kind of letting go to a certain extent. Your kids are older. They're building relationships, whether it's within the family or people that were in the family and maybe they're not in the family. You just have to let it go and leave it up to him and be okay with it. Again, as long as it's not dangerous or it's unhealthy.
Right. Yeah. And I would say that's a really good segue into the next point, which is that if you need help, seek help. That there's nothing wrong with going to family counseling, seeking help from your clergy, from your rabbi, from your faith leader, or going to support groups. I mean, like I just talked about, I mean, the Strong Single Mom Network doesn't exist anymore. But, you know, there are things out there like that are created to help you connect with other people so that you can learn support from one another.
Yeah. A lot of, you know, my kind of maturity after, you know, I was born again came from understanding what being a man was all about by hanging out with other godly men, in my case.
Yes.
And so that matured me. I understood, this is that whole man thing.
Yeah.
You know, and you could say the same thing. Oh, this is what it's like to be a real mom. This is what it's like to be mature. This is what it's like to be a mother. This is what it's supposed to look like. And I think if we go back and we think back in our lives, we can look at maybe some maturity and then look at immaturity and then move forward and say, oh, okay, this is going back to the counseling idea. There's a lot of ways to get it. And I was in, you know, just kind of men's groups, and I learned a lot about manhood, about biblical manhood specifically. But I think that was a very big turning point in my life. And I think what ended up happening for me, and I think what happened for you, man or woman, is that you start to really understand the essence of what being a parent is, a mature adult, and that sort of thing, whether it's with a therapist or in a group or whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's really important to find that find that support if you need that support. We don't have to have it all figured out, and we don't have to pretend like we do. And
I like that. Don't pretend like you do.
Right. I think a lot of times we're just kind of like, I don't know what to do about this, but I'm just going to keep trying more of the same. And it just doesn't work, So yeah, get some help, find ways to relate to one another that, if it's not working, find ways to relate with one another, so that you can have a successful relationship. So, signs of some healthy integration is, hey, if your kids want to have relationship with that step parent and they kind of invite them in, or, calling, I would say one of the key signs that we see, like you said, once the girls moved out, you almost feel closer to them. And I think part of that is because when they lived here, it was very natural, like mom. They were teenage girls though, so of course. But now they'll call him and not me about certain things. And
check my oil today.
They're really smart.
Awesome.
They know where his strengths are and where my strengths are.
That's what I was going to.
So yeah, exactly. They need help they have questions about cars.
They're much more, you can't break that daughter and mom bond, and that's the way it should be and stuff. But they'll call me about, I forget, Sophie called me and we had a long conversation a few days ago. I forget what it was about. Ooh, that's sad. But anyway, great. But, Maddie was just here and, we talked out a bunch of stuff that she's looking to do. And so, it's really neat. It's really, really neat. Like I said, it's all about family. It's all about relationship, and building that is so exciting and rewarding. And it's, like Jackie and I, we always talk about, wow, we got to share our lives together.
Yeah. And
that's really what it's about. It's about sharing a life. Like, if we would have both stayed single, really? There would be no shared experiences. We call the YouTube channel, our family videos, family home videos, because sometimes we'll sit down and watch them because we want to reminisce about stuff that we've done. It's really, really, really fun. And that's really what this is about. It's about building family relationship and fostering that moving forward.
Absolutely. So, in the end of the day, that's the nail on the head right there. So whether step parent, single parent, whatever the case may be, or even if you're just talking about your relationship with your kids, whatever stage and phase they're in, that's really it right there. It's fostering that relationship. So, and that really is kind of the joy in life. Everything else is fleeting. You can't take it with you.
Nothing goes.
So, yeah, more, you know what? I don't even think we need to, I feel like, put a stamp on it. That was good stuff.
All right. Well, that's good. Well, we're really excited that you hung out this long in this podcast. That's really, really important. Depending on where you get this content, if you're listening on some sort of streaming service, give us 5 stars.
Yeah, and if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the like button and leave us a comment. We want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts. Is there something that we missed? Tell us your experience, or just give us suggestions for future content. We're all ears, and we love it.
Or even subscribe. There's another novel idea.
Subscribe. That we would definitely appreciate it. And hey, we are building out our website, emptynesterlifepodcast.com. So be sure to check that out. Actually, it is a work in progress. I have all of our Empty Nester Life podcast episodes there if you go to it online. And then we just figured out yesterday that if you pull it up on mobile or iPad, you don't see the episodes, you just see the description. So I'm working on it.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, I am Jackie.
And I'm Mark.
And we appreciate you. We'll see you next week.
See you next time.